So I'm very, very excited about the matchup today because it is two of my favorite heroes of all time going head to head. Thor versus Sentry. Doesn't that get you excited? Oh, this is going to be a good one. So let's just dive right on in because I cannot wait. So Thor is the Asgardian god of thunder and the son of Odin, the All-Father of Asgard, and the elder earth goddess Gaia. Combining the power of both worlds, Thor is arguably the greatest and mightiest defender of both. Armed with his powerful enchanted Uru hammer Mjolnir, Thor is the mightiest warrior of Asgard, a founding member of the Avengers, and one of the strongest, most powerful beings on Earth. Thor is physically the strongest of all the Norse gods, and his strength is incalculable in the sense that there's really no known upper limit. He's physically overpowered opponents like Abomination, Gladiator, The Thing, and has stalemated against Hulk and Hercules. One of Thor's greatest feats was when he lifted the Midgard serpent, which was so large that it could wrap itself around the earth several times. Thor is so powerful that he can even destroy planets with his blows. He's incredibly invulnerable and has been able to survive blasts from Odin and Celestials, sat in the core of the sun, and has withstood planet-shattering attacks. Although Thor is one of the most durable Marvel heroes, he can still be hurt by beings whose power matches or exceeds his own. Due to his godlike physiology, Thor has a much higher level of endurance than most others, and has been able to fight a battle against frost giants for 9 months without growing tired. He can go incredibly long periods without food, drink, or rest, and can survive in the vacuum of space. Thor can fly incredibly fast, even in combat, and has been seen keeping up with the Silver Surfer and going several times faster than light before. He's one of the most trained and experienced fighters in the Marvel multiverse and is on par with Captain America in terms of skill. However, even though he's a master of several different forms of combat, he often prefers to brawl when fighting powerhouses like Juggernaut, Gladiator, and Abomination. He's also one of the greatest weapons experts in the world, having been trained with an axe, sword, bows, shields, and clubs. However, Thor usually relies upon his trusty hammer Mjolnir. The hammer is one of the most powerful weapons in the Marvel Universe, and has proven capable of hurting cosmic entities before. Using Mjolnir, Thor can summon and control the power of storms, causing rain, wind, thunder, and lightning. He can create electrical storms, hurricane-level winds, tornadoes, tidal waves, earthquakes, and blizzards that have been shown to spread across the entire planet. Thor can resurrect the dead, although it's unknown how long the person can actually be dead before Thor can no longer revive them. Using Mjolnir, he can manipulate matter on a wide scale, and he's able to transmute elements. He can turn invisible and intangible, as well as disrupt the intangibility of others. The hammer can create force fields that are basically impenetrable, and absorb energy blasts from even the most powerful of foes. The God Blast is Thor's most powerful attack, and is shown to be powerful enough to kill the Midgard serpent, as well as even harming Galactus. And in the other corner we have Sentry. Robert Reynolds became the Sentry, one of the first and mightiest superheroes after ingesting an experimental super soldier formula. He is trapped in a constant battle with his dark side, known as the Void. After his membership with the Avengers, he joined Norman Osborn's Dark Avengers and died during his siege in Asgard. Most recently, the Sentry was resurrected by the Apocalypse Twins as one of the Horsemen of Death. The Sentry is one of the most powerful superheroes in the Marvel Universe, and it's been said that he has the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns, although I've always seen this more as a metaphor rather than he actually does have that level of power. Sentry possesses superhuman strength and is able to easily overpower beings like Ares, the god of war, and Terex, the herald of Galactus. He was also able to hold his own in a fight against World War Hulk, which absolutely no one else was able to do. Although Thor wasn't around at that time, so we don't know how he would have fared. However, even though he was able to hold his own in this fight, he was eventually knocked out by Banner when they both reverted back to their human form. Sentry possesses an incredibly high level of speed, which allows him to catch bullets in his hand and fly from Earth to the sun and back in just a couple of minutes. He has superhuman senses, as evidenced by the fact that he once said he could hear the heartbeat of a butterfly in Africa while he was in New York City. Sentry is one of the few heroes considered to be completely invincible, and other than his fragile mind, it's been said that he literally has no weaknesses or physical vulnerabilities. He can turn intangible and can phase right through objects, as well as turn invisible by deflecting light and radiant emissions. Sentry is one of the greatest telepaths in the world, though most of his powers are devoted to maintaining his physical form. He is also able to manipulate matter down to the molecular level, and was even able to beat Molecule Man with ease after discovering this power. Finally, Sentry is effectively immortal and cannot be killed unless he decides that he wants to die. So who wins this fight? Well, let's break it down. Oh man, this is going to be a hard fight to decide. Now, both of these characters could win it. And really, no matter what happens, it's going to be an all-out fight to the end. Now, I know that Dev Seed Sentry has fought Thor before and pretty much manhandled him. But we are not including that fight in the discussion because that was Sentry when he was the Horseman of Death. We're going to be using the Sentry from around the Dark Avengers time. And now we have to talk about the Void. Around this time, the Void and Sentry were battling for control of Robert Reynolds, so it is possible that the Void could come out at really any time. And if Thor fought the Void, then he would lose. There's really no way around that. However, we're going to assume that Sentry is in control throughout this fight, just because I'm trying to make it a little bit more even. Because like I said, if Thor went up against the Void by himself, he'd probably lose 10 times out of 10. Now, the way I see it, Thor is stronger than Sentry. Yeah, Sentry has been able to rip Ares in half and hold his own against World War Hulk, but he's still a relatively new character, especially compared to Thor. And the God of Thunder just has many more feats, and frankly, more impressive feats, like lifting the Midgard serpent and even destroying whole planets with his blows. They're pretty even in speed, with both being able to go faster than the speed of light, but Sentry uses this speed in combat more often than Thor does. However, I can never really think of a time where Thor went up against a character of similar strength and lost purely because of speed. They are both incredibly durable, but Sentry's regenerative abilities give him the edge. I mean, there have been a couple times where people thought that the Sentry had been killed or destroyed, only for Bob to reform again a few minutes later. And now to talk about their other, more unique abilities. And man, do these guys have a lot of them. Thor's greatest advantage in this fight is Mjolnir, which is one of the most powerful weapons in the Marvel Universe. Using Mjolnir, he can summon lightning, tornadoes, hurricanes, tidal waves, earthquakes, and blizzards, which can spread to the planetary level. He can manipulate matter on a wide scale, as well as disrupt the intangibility of others. Then, of course, Thor can always hit Sentry with the hammer, which is strong enough to destroy planets. On the other hand, Sentry's greatest advantage is his matter manipulation and energy blasts and emission. Although with Mjolnir, Thor can absorb powerful energy blasts and attacks, so that kind of counters Sentry's energy. Now we gotta talk about his matter manipulation, because Sentry could win the battle right here. The thing is, most of the time that Sentry has been seen using his matter manipulation powers, it's actually the Void in control. Now, I'm not saying that Sentry doesn't have the ability to manipulate matter, because he definitely does. What I am saying, though, is that he doesn't tend to use this power when Sentry is in control of Robert Reynolds. The matter manipulation powers tend to come out when the Void is in control. Then Thor is also able to create basically impenetrable force fields and deliver the God Blast, which is his most powerful attack. It's been able to kill the Midgard serpent before and even harm Galactus. So in the end, I do believe that Sentry could beat Thor, but you gotta give it more time. He's still a relatively young character, and he's just gonna have to earn more feats to be able to take down the God of Thunder. Thor just has too many strength and durability feats in his favor, and also just has a plethora of ways to take down the Sentry. So I have to give the victory to the God of Thunder. But what do y'all think? I would love to hear your thoughts on this battle, so sound off down in the comments down below. And if you have any ideas for future videos, sound off down there too. And finally, be sure to hit the subscribe button for more videos just like this one every single week.